Hey there, Chud Crew. Unfortunately, the video didn't record for this video. Pretty ironic, I know. So, it's an audio-only track. I'll put a little funny image on top of it so you have something to look at, but just know, this is a podcast episode. So get ready for my podcast, starting now. What it do, Chud Crew? IGP, back on the sack, and today, we're playing the XXXXXL challenge, where every floor is as big as Win 1 if it had Curse of the XL, Curse of the Big Boy. You can say it's a pretty big challenge, and I'm here today with a pretty famous special guest. Well, he's special, but we don't like him on the channel, but he's here, he's certainly here. Everyone say hello to Donald Trump. That's right, it's me. I'm on the IGP channel. I'm on IGP 2008, and I'm here to discuss my relevance in the Epstein files. A lot of people have been saying I've been visiting Epstein Island, and I was there a lot. But I just want to clear the muddy waters and say I was only there for the snorkeling and the pizza and the grape soda. Don't forget the grape soda and the cream cheese. I loved it all. It was beautiful. A lot of good food, in the photos, a lot of people are saying in the photos, we can only be seen eating plain, unseasoned boiled chicken, but that's just because they were preparing the pizza. They were preparing our grape soda, and, so that's why we were eating that. It wasn't the best food, but, well, it was certainly food, am I right? All food's good food. Right, boys? You know it, IGP. But, you weren't at the island. I remember I checked. I looked all around for you, but you were there. You weren't at the island. Of course I wasn't doing anything nefarious at this island. I don't want to say whose island it was, but I was looking for you and you weren't there. Well, of course I wasn't there, Donald. I was too busy grinding it out on the sack, and also I'd never go to that island. Epstein's Island, I'm assuming you're talking about. A lot of bad things took place on that island. Horrible things. Can't be talked about, or well, should be talked about actually, because it's just plain bad, plain wrong. And, you know, Donald, I've heard a lot about your involvement in a lot of unjust politics. I don't know what you're talking about, IGP, and you're starting to piss me off a little bit. Can we get back to the Binding of Isaac? I really want to play. I want to play this game. Really badly I want to play it. Well, of course, Donald, but you need to stop your horrible deeds, horrible acts, and rescind all the bad actions you've done. I'll do it if we beat this challenge. If we beat this challenge, I'll turn myself in. I'll fix the U.S. economy. I'll stop all these random-ass wars I'm starting just for no fucking reason at all. I don't know, I'm just bored or something. If you promise, Donald, we can complete this challenge easily. Look at those soul hearts we just gathered. 2 of them. Dude, that's a lot like my 2 big Donald balls. They're right there on my little Donald scrotum. My big Donald scrotum, actually. They looked at my scrotum and they didn't find any DNA. They found USA. That's how great of a scrotum it is. It's a wonderful scrotum. Well, Donald, you're gonna need to stop talking about it. Because we need to play the Binding of Isaac. That's what we're doing today. We're gonna complete the XXXXXL challenge. The XL challenge. Oh, here's Monstro. Monstro, I remember I saw him at the island a little bit. Monstro with his cleft lip. Look at that beautiful lip. It's big and it's juicy. I remember when I was at the island, I would sit and I would suck on it. I would put my little tongue around it. My big tongue, actually. It was a great tongue. It was the best tongue. One of the best tongues. But I would sit and I would look, and Monstro would be there. And I would put my mouth around his tongue and other parts of Monstro. And, you know, it's a little muscle of fun, if you will. And that would defeat him, and I would be able to progress to Basement 2, my favorite floor in the Binding of Isaac. Sometimes, if I got unlucky, it would be Cellar 2, or maybe even Burning Basement 2, after I unlocked the 2 floors. Well, of course, Donald, but we need to defeat Monstro instead of sucking him off. Because unfortunately, he's our adversary. He's our adversary because he was at the island, yes? Well, Donald thinks that that's a bad way to pick your adversaries, pick your enemies. Well, Donald, personally, I think you're wrong. It's a horrible thing. You were on this island. I can't believe you went there. Actually, you know what? I really can't believe you went there. As a as a human being, it's disgusting and despicable what you're doing. But you see, IGP, if you really think about it, was I even there? Was I there? Yes, Donald. I actually looked in the files myself. I looked up the word Donald, and then the word Trump. I found so many results you wouldn't even believe. I saw this picture of Benjamin Netanyahu balls deep in some random person. I think it was a man, but of course that's not the problem, that's not the issue. It's the fact that it's Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. What's the problem with Netanyahu? There's a big problem with Netanyahu. There's a big problem, you say. That's what your issue is this? That's it? Well, of course, Donald. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Israel. In fact, I'm not a fan of Israel at all. Not even a big one. I'm a negative fan of Israel. I'm a hater. I'm a hater. That's not because they're Jewish. I have no issue with Jews. As I said in the earlier video, I wish my Jewish community a lot of help and luck when they're facing anti-Semitism. But, Donald, I don't agree with the actions of Israel. Well, personally, I do, you know. That's why I support them. I send $3 trillion to Israel. 3 trillion cents to the seller with their spiders. And I was looking and I found lots of scats in this game, and there's lots of it. And I don't know how comfortable I feel with it because it kind of disgusts me. It's really gross. It disgusts me too, Donald, but we gotta push past it to achieve our goal of defeating Mom's Heart. Because if we defeat Mom's Heart, we complete the XXXXXXXL challenge. That's what happens. Well, of course we defeat the challenge, but you have to move for all this scat to complete it. Is it worth it? What do you even unlock for completing the challenge? You unlock golden hearts, Donald. Don. And whenever you break a golden heart, it drops a bunch of coins. It's really lucky. It's really good. It's an amazing upgrade to have. But is it really? Is it really? Is it Israeli? Because if we're getting Israeli upgrades, then I'm really happy. I love that. I'm a big fan of that. No, Donald. It's not Israeli. It's actually on the right side of history instead of Israel. You know, Donald? That's where it is. It lands firmly in the place of the victors, of the good people. That's where it is. We got torn photo. Yes, we did get torn photo, Donald. And that gives us a pretty hefty tears up. I'm a big tears up fan, because it's one of the best stats in the game. Although I would much rather have a higher range. Personally, I disagree. I would rather have tears up than range up. I don't like range up. I would rather have tears. I mean, think about it. If you have high tears in the short range, that's like a close range shotgun when you're fighting the enemies. And I said, I get the range down pill and I smile. A little smirk comes across my face. A big smirk, actually. It's one of the biggest smirks. One of the happiest I've been in my life is when I get a range down pill, actually. Because personally, as a true American, I don't need range. I just need damage. I just need damage, and I need tears to supplement that damage. Because if you have high damage but low range, then you're just getting the Pong challenge. The Pong. I don't really like the Pong challenge. It's pretty boring. I did beat it first try though. I beat it first try, and it was pretty easy challenge. I also beat it first try, Donald, but unfortunately we're gonna need to progress through these floors lickety split if we want to defeat Mom's Heart in time and unlock golden hearts. We really do. Did you notice back then that we got Guppy's eye? That's one piece towards the Guppy transformation, commonly referred to as the best Isaac transformation, the best one. It's one of the best. Matter of fact, I would say it's the best. No, Donald. You don't understand. While Guppy is a good transformation, it's leagues behind Conjoined, the Conjoined transformation. It's simply a better transformation because it gives you triple shot. But do you really want that? Is that something that you need? You really need triple shot? You don't even hit them if you don't have homing. If you don't have homing, you'll never hit them. It's just not something that's gonna happen. Yes, but Donald, by the time you get the Conjoined transformation, there's a high likelihood that you've got homing. Well, of course, yes. There's a pretty good chance you've got homing. Do you need homing? You really need it. Or you can just aim. You can just aim. Aim and hit your shots, that's what I say. Always hit your shots. You know, you can grab him right there and, you know, hit your shots. That's all you need to do. You just gotta hit your shots. Well, of course, Donald, hitting your shots is a supplement for homing, not having it, but would you not prefer homing? That way you can just hold a button and get all your damage output all at once. Well, of course, that's something that you could do, but it's not the American way. No, it's not the American way. The Americans don't rely on cheap tactics like homing. That's a Russian tactic, but of course, I don't really mind the Russians anymore. I'm a big fan of Putin. He's one of my good buddies. We were at this island. Do you remember the island I was talking about earlier? He was there a lot. And I'm a big fan of... We would be at the island and nobody would look, and we would kiss. Oh, we would kiss. Oh, it was a wonderful time. I would sit there and, you know, just like Monstro, I'd suck on his little lips. Oh, those little Russian lips, I'd suck on them. They were wonderful. They're amazing quality. You know, people say his heart is cold. His moves are bold, but I would say his lips are even bolder. Those beautiful, beautiful lips. I could suck on them all day. That's great, Donald. It's good to share love instead of hatred, but unfortunately, you as a person decide to spread hatred far more than you spread love. Perhaps if you could show and spread the love that you give to President Vladimir Putin. Sorry, president? He really shouldn't be a president, but whatever. He is. That's where he is. If you could show this love to the American people as well, that would be amazing. Call off your forces, such as, I can't remember the name, but the bad ones. Evil, bad. Call them off. And personally, I think you really should get rid of these evil, horrible things. Pisces, you got Pisces. It's pretty good tier trait, pretty good tier size, upgrade, increase your tier knockback. But you've also got a reroll machine in this room. We do, Donald. I'm gonna use it because I've got 56 coins. 120 volt? No. Lodestone? Certainly not. Butterfly's pretty good, as you can see. Isaac there, he's got a little face like when I was making fun of that random transgender athlete who did a great job, by the way. I don't think she did a great job, but she did. She did a great job, but personally, I thought it was funny to make fun of her because she was transgender. And you know, I was up on the stage and I embarrassed myself. I went, ugh. Of course, Donald, it's not fun. It's not funny to make fun of people for things like that. It's a horrible thing to do, actually, and it makes me sick that you would even consider it. You know, Donald, making fun of people for things like that, it's not good. You've got to consider what the other person might feel, what the person on the other side might feel. Would they laugh at the joke? If they were, if you were there in their shoes, would you laugh? Of course I would, because I'm Brazilian and I'm tough, and I'm Brazilian. I'm a tough nut to crack. I'm a tough nut to bust, if you will. Yes, that's right. I never prematurely ejaculated. Never happens. Not once in my life have I ever ejaculated before my partner finished. Well, Donald, it's pretty hard to make an imaginary girl finish, but you know what they say. It's up to you. Don't worry about it, but we'll continue on with this challenge. Unfortunately, we got the Curse of the Darkness. Did you see we got Curse of the Darkness? That means we can't see in a large area around us. Of course we can't see Donald, but, you know, even in the fog of war, a tank is visible. So let's see what we can't do. Alright. What an easy room. Why the fuck is this room even in the game? Well, of course, Donald, I agree. You know, when you're not being an evil dictator, you've got to consider these things, these Isaac trivialities. You've got to dodge the big scatties everywhere just to complete the challenges to unlock golden hearts. Well, of course, you know, you want to unlock golden hearts. I understand fully, I understand well. But why would you want to unlock golden hearts again? Why do you want them? It makes the game really easy to rig, Donald. We can fully complete the challenge whenever we want. And as you can see, if I open the pause screen here, it's on normal mode. That makes it one of the easiest challenges to do. Now, most challenges are played on normal mode, including the infamous ultra hard challenge, which is strange because surely that makes it ultra easy, am I right? But no. You know, I heard you completed the ultra hard challenge. You know, I was watching your video doing a little diss on Attack Puppies Gaming. Attack Puppies Gaming. He's a horrible guy, I don't like him. You take that back about my friend. I won't let you insult him like that. Attack Puppies Gaming. You know, as much as we fight about the sack, he's a great guy. And deep down, he is amazing at the sack, but he'll just... Something about him will never reach the Isaac Pro level, but... Or Isaac Gaming Pro. But that's fine. Not everyone needs to be an Isaac Gaming Pro. That's because he's an Isaac Gaming God. Isaac Gaming God, what is this? What is this? What are you talking about Isaac Gaming God for? I simply disagree. I don't agree with what you're saying. It doesn't matter if you disagree, Donald. It's true. That's right. Oh, money, money. I like money. I like money. I love money. And that's why I'm friends with Israel. I love money because the war, it benefits me a lot. It gives me a lot of economic progress. No, of course I'm not going to share it with anybody else. Why the fuck would I share it with anybody else? I want it all for me. Just for me. Just for me and my little pockets. My little big planet pockets. My little big pockets. I look inside them and like, oh, such big pockets. Such big pockets. And then when I get home, sometimes in the mornings, I like to reach a finger into my meat pocket. I like to see what's in there. I like to dig up inside and just see what I can see. See what I can find. Of course, Donald, but interestingly, you seem to be very against homosexuality of any kind. Yet, based on your stories you told me today, you seem to be in a relationship with Vladimir Putin and Malstroh from the Binding of Isaac, who, although he has no gender, from what I can tell, you said you would suck him off, and that sort of insinuates that he is male and has a penis. Now, of course, having a penis, you know, doesn't make you immediately male, but if I remember right, he is. Now, what can you say about this? Your angel chance is down the shitter, by the way, pal. Your angel chance, it's all the way down. Not 0.2%. Good luck getting the angel deal. In fact, you're about to die. Ooh, nice save by GP. I loved it. I was a big fan of that save. Let's go guzzle up all those pills. All those pills. Let's see what they get. Paralysis. I don't like that. Let's see what else. Tears up. Wonderful.
Up.
Runs till the end. Runs till the end. That kinda reminds me of me and my buddy Jeffrey Epstein. We were friends until he didn't kill himself. In fact, based on his Fortnite account activity, there's a decent chance he's still alive, you know. And I've been talking a lot to him when he's, quote, dead. He's not dead. He's alive, yes, yes. Put it this way, right? You know their names. That means they're not the ones on top. That's true, Donald. No, that's true. Because we know their names, that must mean there's someone higher. Someone above them. Yes, including above the big Steen. Yes, including above him. Which is bad because it means there's more evil in this world that we don't need to see. Well, of course there's more evil. What the fuck are you talking about? Fucking Simpleton could make this deduction that there's evil in the world. Are you stupid or something? Well, of course, Donald, but in our personal relationships, there's no reason to be evil or mean. We can spread positivity and joy in this world. Why the fuck would I want to do that? I'm basically Satan. He's in the Binding of Isaac, and they respreaded him. But they didn't respread him to be my face. That's not what he looks like. Oh, of course, I should be in this game. You know, as my world-famous persona would say, I really should be. That's where I should be. Hey, buddy, by the way, you just lost 1 damage for tier rate. Are you sure you're happy with that? Well, of course, because now I'm above the soft tier limit, which is going to be giving me insane DPS. You know what would really suck on this challenge? IGP. Curse of the Lost. That would suck. That would be really bad curse to have. Could you imagine this challenge, you couldn't see your map. Your map. That reminds me, I'm a map. In other words, I'm a pedophile. Not even in other words, in normal people words, I'm a pedophile. That's right, I like little kids. We know that, Donald. Explains why we're there. where you were. It makes me sick. Sick to my core. This is not something to joke about, and I'm not joking about it. Of course. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. But at the same time, it's deeply personal to my life, and you're disrespecting me. Well, of course I'm disrespecting you, Donald. You're a gross, sick human. You make me sick. That's what you do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you sick, IGP, but... Personally, fuck you. Fuck you, IGP. Fuck you, I don't like you. That explains a lot, Donald. Because only goats like IGP. Only goats like the Binding of Isaac. You know what, actually, yes, fuck the Binding of Isaac. It's a shitty-ass game. That explains a lot to me. You revealed your true self to me, and now I can understand why you're like the way you are. Because you're evil. You're ne'er-do-well. It means never do well. That's where the etymology comes from. Never do well and never does good. Just doing evil. That's all you do. You're a sick, twisted man. Of course I am. Of course I am. How do you think I got into Epstein's Island? Huh? How do you think I got there? By being a good little boy? Well, of course I was. You know, if you've seen the emails from Prince Andrew Mountbatten. Sorry, Prince? Well, we call him Prince of the Island, but you, normal people wouldn't call him that. Because he's not a prince, he's a pedophile. With you and Epstein. Well, of course he is, you know. That's kind of what we did at the island, to be fucking stupid or something. But, basically, when we were there, he would tickle me, and he sent an email to Epstein, if you remember right. It said, "Can I be your pet, Epstein? I'd love to be your little pet." This is a real email, by the way. You can go check. You can go look it up. He sent this. Of course he sent it. He's sick and twisted now. There's nothing wrong with being submissive, but if it's to the most evil man on the planet, then I would say there probably is. Well, of course you would say that, IGP, because you just simply don't know what you're talking about. Backstabber, are you really gonna reel up Backstabber? Of course I am. Without piercing, it's not that good. Let's get a glitched item. Blessing Shin. Lost power. Let's close the debug console. Now what is that gonna do for us, I wonder? That glitched item. It could do anything. It could make you scat all over the floor. That could happen as a result of your acquisition of that little item. Well, of course it could. But we could also get really powerful results from it. Let's see. Isaac versus... I deal with lust a lot. But it's not the good kind. Let's just say it's the evil, fucked up kind. It makes me a really bad person. I know. Well, I don't know. They say I'm a bad person. Also, that glitched item might have fucked you over, pal. Looks like you take damage every time you kill something. But you did just get prayer card, a pretty good angel deal item. It gives you that eternal heart piece. And now you don't need to worry about getting hit for the rest of the floor. You don't need to redo this room, though. What a chud. You take that back. You can never call me a chud. Ever. It's not something that you can do. Well, sorry. Let's rethink this. You are a chud. I'm not. Because I'm nothing like you. I'm not a chud. Because if you think about it, what's the synonym for chud? Incel. Those people make me sick. Disgusting behavior. You know, just hate women for nothing, for no reason, other than the fact that you're like, I don't know. I've never really researched it, but they're bad people. That's all I know. It's disgusting. Makes me sick. It doesn't make me sick. Personally, I think it's a good thing. Of course you do, Donald. Because you're an evil, sick, twisted man. Well, of course I am. How do you think you make it to the top? You make it to the top by being yourself and being true to yourself. Well, look, another way you don't make it to the top is by trading speed for damage. Damage for speed. You want to keep that speed handy, just in case you need it. And look, this is why I love having high tiers but low range. It's amazing, to be quite frank. But it's not, though, is it? Makes the game harder to play. Especially when these buttlickers are trying to attack us. It's really hard to play the game when you've got buttlickers on your tail, isn't it, EDP? It certainly isn't an easy time. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, I noticed that you keep using data miner despite the fact that it keeps repeatedly fucking you over. I don't know what your big deal is here. As you can see, Donald, I'm currently above the soft tears cap. 5. I'm 5.5, which means I'm sending out 5.5 tears a second. It's pretty good when you're a guy like me. You're missing a lot. I know, Donald. You gotta miss to get what comes next in this world. Love and humanity. That's all you gotta do. Personally, I wouldn't understand humanity because I'm the devil. I am Satan. Along with my good friend Baal, commonly referred to by his Epstein persona. But really, yes, he's the demon Baal. And I'm good friends with him because I'm Beelzebub. I'm Lucifer. That's who I am. That's my other name. It's Lucifer, Beelzebub. You know, I go by lots of names. The Morning Star. You know, because people used to think I used to be a Roman god called the Lightbringer, the Morning Star. But let's just say I'm no longer that anymore, am I? That's not who I am. I'm a bad guy. I'm an evil guy, personally. I don't really respect good or anything positive in this world. I just want evil. That's all you want, is evil. Make me sick to my core. Of course I do, of course I do. You know, a little liberal like you wouldn't understand why I'm the way I am. I do understand, I understand all too well, Donald. Because you're vile, you're sick and twisted, and heartless. Well, of course I am, but you know, I can't really come back from that. I kind of am, you know, that's the way I am. I was sent here to be evil from hell, from the domain of hell, and you know, that's why I'm here. They sent me, and they're like, go do evil, go do evil. That's what I want you to do. And I reminisce about my days in the pit of fire, the lake of fire, actually. And I think back on it fondly. I'm like, those were good days in that big old lake. You know, it was just like at the island. Just like at the island, because they had a big hot tub and a pool. And that's all I did. All I did was spend all day in the pool. I never went anywhere else on that island because simply there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. But we all know what you were truly doing, don't you? Don't we? Being evil, heartless. Well, who says that? Who says that? I do. Because you're evil. I noticed that you're saying I'm evil, but you just picked up my mark. My mark, the mark of the beast. The Mr. Beast. One of my closest associates as well, Mr. Beast. I love that guy. And you just got a soul art from a little scatty. How do you feel? I feel pretty good about it. You do, you fucking loser. You just lost it. You lost the soul art that you got from a scat. You don't even have the petrified poop trinket. Which means that was pretty lucky and you lost it. You know why you lost it? Because you're a liberal. Because you're a liberal. That's what happens when you don't respect me in this world. You lose the things dearest to you. You lose it. Well, of course that's true, but I don't know what you're talking about. You lose. You've lost the thing closest to your heart. Your humanity, if you ever had any. You were a little baby at one point, Donald. Just remember that. We all start from the same place, you know. Everyone's blood is red. Unless you have some kind of condition that makes it a different color. But I used to have that condition and I would cut myself and my blood would come out and it would be black dust. There would be some evil black ooze that would come out of my hand. And it would stain all my clothes, all my beautiful white clothes. Beautiful white clothes. I would never wear black clothes, and it's simply disgusting. It would get on there, and it would look awful. But you just got tickets. You got tickets. One of your favorite items in the set. The Binding of Isaac. The Binding of Isaac. I'm pretty well versed on binding. Me and Jeffrey Epstein, he used to put me in bondage a lot of bondage. It felt pretty good. It felt amazing actually. Well, of course he would. Of course, that's something you would do. There's nothing wrong with it when it's consenting, but it's between the two most evil people on the planet who have professed to be demons. Then I have a problem. Then I have an issue. Well, of course you have an issue. You have an issue with everything I do. IGP. That's all you seem to do is hate. You're a hater. You're an ugly little hater. You're chopped. You're an ugly little hater. Well, of course you would think that, Donald, but really, if you look at it, it's the complete opposite, roundabout opposite way round, because you're the chopped one. That's right. What the fuck did you just call me, little shit? I called you ugly, Donald. What are you gonna do about it? Not a lot. I can't really do a lot, as you know, because of my, my position as president. I can't do a lot about attracting the public eye, but I can certainly blacklist you from America. Is that what you want? I wouldn't mind that. From what I can tell, aside from the people that live there, the people of the American nation, it's a bad country. Your gun control laws are horrible, evil, horrible. They're bad. I don't like them. Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't like them. What a surprise! The liberal boy doesn't like gun control. Doesn't like guns. He doesn't like guns. Of course he doesn't, because he's liberal. He's a little liberal. That's right. He's sitting with Joe Biden on the table, and they're discussing, "Oh, I love guns. I hate guns. I hate guns. I hate them. I don't like them." Of course you were doing that, you little chub. You little chud. That's the word you said. You called me earlier. You called me a chud, didn't you? I did. That's what happened. I called you a chud. Because I speak the truth. I only speak the truth. You're just gonna leave that sack with that room back there? What if it was a Degas rune, or an Awad's rune, or who knows, maybe it was Perfra. You could reroll the treasure room on this floor. And then you gotta see what you get. You could have got brimstone. Actually, Donald, you're wrong. You can't get brimstone from the treasure room pool. There's no something like this in it. You trying to doubt me or something, Chuddy? You trying to doubt me, you little cuck? I mean, I am actually a cuckold. That's kind of central to myself. I just noticed you just got the Percano rune. It's a pretty good rune. You lost your early card though, so it's time to restart the run. No, we're already too deep. We're on depth 2 of the XXXXL challenge. Ooh, farting baby. Farting baby, he's pretty good. Ooh, or maybe punching bag. Decoy familiar and enemies target him. But we're in for something better. I can just tell. Just round the next re-roll. Shard of glass. I would not categorize that as better. Betrayal. Turn your enemy. Not great. Obsessed fan. I've got a lot of obsessed fans, you know. I was approached by some pretty recently. It was a pretty scary experience. Thought I was about to get destroyed. Well, of course you would. Of course you would. You would get destroyed no matter what you did because you're weak. You're a little chud. You're a little chud. That's what you keep calling me. You keep calling me a chud, and I don't honestly understand why you keep saying it. You know, because, you know, don't throw stones from a glass house, chuddy. You know, I throw stones from my White House, my big White House, my white House, and there's nothing dark about my White House. Aside from the picture of Barack Obama I've got in the hall. Did you see the little insignia as well I put below Sleepy Joe's name? Initially I was writing a little yaoi fanfiction about me and Joe. But the more I wrote it, the more I realized it's not fiction, it's true, it's the truth. It's what actually happened, you know. I was getting cucked by his wife. It was a horrible experience all around. But at the same time, it was pretty good. Because as I said earlier, I'm a cuckold. I'm a big cuck. I like getting cucked. It's something that I like to happen. I read a lot of NTR yaoi dojins. I read them a lot. It's something I do. I read a lot of yaoi. But I only read toxic yaoi. I don't read anything wholesome or unique. Well, of course you do. I've never read any myself, but I would say that's probably the worst. Genre. If I had to decide. I never read anything like anything intellectual. I've read a lot of people like this manga called Goodnight Bun Bun, and I gotta say I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Goodnight Bun Bun because oh my God, is that dead cat? You can become Guppy. IGP, you can become Guppy. I'm well aware I can become Guppy. Just make sure you transfer your soul arts first. Then you can become Guppy, and now you're Guppy. You don't need to play anymore, because you'll just look at all the blue flies you'll get. All the blue flies, all those wonderful blue flies. Luckily, they're not any other color of fly. We don't really like those flies, but we do love blue flies. We get some red and white ones too. If you went back and picked up that Percano rune, you could get some red locusts, and they would be pretty similar to flies. Are you not gonna pop your magician? Of course I am. Of course I am. I'll take your controller and I'll pop the magician, even though you didn't want to use it. And, you know, I'm noticing there's not a lot of items in the boss rush. Well, of course there isn't, Donald. Boss rush has a pretty low chance to give you anything good. The last run I did, guess what I got? Oh, you got IGP. What'd you get? I got Magic Mush. I was pretty happy about it. This Magic Mush is one of the best items in this game. Amazing stat ups. Wonderful performance. Elective, don't pick it up. I'm not picking it up for the reason you wouldn't pick it up, Donald. I'm not picking it up because our correction gets better. Wait, actually, it's better. Because, no, you can't take that item. It's bad, it's evil. You can tell just by looking at it. Of course, a racist like you would think that, Donald. You would pick it up for that sole purpose, that sole reason. But it's actually one of the better trinkets in the entire game. One of the best trinkets. One of the best trinkets, you say. Like, you say it's one of the best trinkets, like used diaper doesn't exist. Like used diaper doesn't exist. Like sigil of Baphomet doesn't exist. You're saying those trinkets aren't good? What's wrong with the sigil of Baphomet? I know Baphomet, he's a pretty great guy. He's a wonderful fellow. He's an amazing guy, actually. Baphomet, me and Jeffrey Epstein, we would get down dirty pretty. Sometimes we would get dirty. Dirty sometimes. Me and Baphomet, I would snuggle up in his bed and he would say, "Oh, Trumpy, you're such a good boy for Baffy." And I would say, "Oh, Baffy, you know it." That's our little nickname. We had a little lover's quarrel over it one time, but that's my name for him. And you know, I miss those days. Well, of course you miss those days. You would be hanging out with demons, evil beings. That's what you would be doing. And you're still doing it. With Jeffrey Epstein. Well, of course I will. Of course I am. You think I'm gonna stop? Because he's dead. They say he killed himself. But me and Bill Clinton, we actually know that never happened. He never killed himself. Because he's still alive and he's playing Fortnite Battle Royale right now. While we're playing Isaac, he was playing Fortnite. I just noticed Mama Gertie went off screen. She really did. That's not great, but we did get Sinfoil as a result, which is pretty good. We're big fans of Sinfoil, because it's one of the better syringe items. You know it is. It's an amazing syringe item. But personally, I'm not a fan because we're still so far off the spun transformation. There's barely a point having syringe items, is there? Well, of course, but any transformation progress is progress. That's what you don't understand, Donald. You just want win. You just want the results instantly. Oh, of course I don't. If you could have quick results, would you not want quick results? I just noticed when I went in this room, it looked a little German. It looked like a swat. You know, like that's slang, by the way, because I can't say the real thing in public anymore. You know, there's liberals, they don't allow it. But you know, it reminds me and when I was in my home of hell, the lake of fire. I would sit with him a lot. He taught me a lot of things, and I really agree with the guy on a lot of things. I think he's great. Well, of course you would, Donald. The most evil man in history, and you think he's amazing. Doesn't surprise me, not one bit. You know, IGP, after this, consider me off your channel. I'm never coming back on it. It's simply not something I'll do. You know, because Personally, I think you're really disrespecting me right now, and I won't stand for it, simply. I simply won't stand for it. Of course, you won't stand for it. Because you only stand for evil and ne'er-do-wellism and Machiavellianism. That means you just want to win. That's all you're focused on, results. Well, of course I'm only focused on results. What the fuck are you talking about? Why would I be focused on anything else at all? Anything. Because sometimes there's things more important than winning. Sometimes there's things more important than reaching the ending. When you watch a movie, you're watching it to do what? To get to the end, to finish the movie. You're never attempting to gain something from the movie. Or are you one of those judges that like read into the movie and think, oh wow, what great symbolism. Ooh, like you're better. You think you're better than everybody else. No, to be honest, whenever I watch a movie, I'm thinking, wow, what a good movie. I don't think once I thought, wow, that's amazing story. Because it's just not something that happens to me personally. I know it happens to CPJO, and I know you think it can happen to anybody, but it simply can't. It's not something that's gonna happen. You got bum friend. I would never be friends with any bums, because why would I want that? You know, real poor boys. No thank you. I'll only take the richest of the rich. Those who I can accrue onto the little islands. I noticed you just got experimental build like up tears down, but your tears didn't go down. Why is that? Are you cheating or something? Are you hacking? No, of course not. I would never think of cheating in Isaac. I've never used anything that would give me advantage in the game, but it's because I'm above the soft tears cap by using data miner. That's why, I believe. Can you do something for me money-wise? Can you suck it? Well, Donald, unfortunately, actually, fortunately, I would never do that. Really? You would never do it? You would not once? You wouldn't even consider it? No. No, I wouldn't. Not at all. I'm sorry, Donald. In fact, I'm not sorry. I'm pretty glad that I can assist you. Of course you can't. Of course you can't. You can't do anything. Much less play The Binding of Isaac. Because you're not good at it. You're simply the worst player. Isaac Gaming Pro 2008. More like Isaac Gaming Noob 2008. That's what you are. You're a noob. Look, you just got hit by the grimaces. I did, but we're about to be the XXXL challenge. It lives. No, it lives. It's a little fetus. But you just killed it. That's gonna be illegal. Because I don't like choice. I don't like choice. I'm not a big fan of it. Well, of course you're not. Of course you're not, Donald. But you're getting off my channel right now. You're getting off because we just beat the XXXXXL challenge. We did it. Well, of course you did, but you think you're a little Chad. You think it's gonna make you better than me because you could beat a stupid Isaac challenge. Well, it doesn't. But we just unlocked gold hearts, so I don't need you anymore. Fuck off, Donald. Well, fuck you too, buddy. I'm going back to the island. Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't like you at all. You're not a good person. It doesn't matter how many Isaac challenges you complete. You'll never change it. You'll never change. You'll never be like me, a winner. A winner. I don't care, because you're not a winner. Anyways, now that he's gone, we can finish the video off in style. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll never have a special guest like that again. Instead, maybe we'll have someone like Attack Puppies Gaming on the channel. That would be amazing. If you're watching the video, Attack Puppies Gaming, reach out, let me know. Anyways, I'll see you later, Chud Crew, for another challenge. Potentially have a heart, unlike that evil guy that we just had on the game. Smell you later, Chud Crew.